Alexi, okay, pass Lily Berry, left side, tip shot, popped in the air, easy dig for Nebraska, fed left, Harper, kaboom! Whoa! Putting dents in the Huff Hall deck, timeout Illinois, wow! Harper Murray, bang, doused at the net, here come the Hawkeyes, bumped over to the left, Gabby Jerry, tipping, big pancake, bring out the special, kill the deal, left side, tip shot off the, blocking out, Taylor Landfair, that's volleyball, 16-6.
Now, here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Just enjoying another beautiful fall day during the bye week. We hope you're having a chance to do the same. It's gorgeous weather throughout the state of Nebraska again today. We're going to have some fun, though, for the next couple of hours. Some of our favorites. Jeremiah Sirles will stop by the Dig, and we'll hear from the Dig. This week it's Lindsey Peterson, who's a huge part of the success of Husker volleyball. So we'll have clips of both of those podcasts coming up throughout the next 2 hours of the program tonight. We'll not have a football show this week because of the bye week. Kind of give those guys a little bit of break. I think the only media availability of the week was yesterday's Matt Rhule press conference. So he will not meet with the media or any other coaches until next Monday when they get back into the game day routine. We will have a volleyball show Thursday night. John Cook in studio at 6 o'clock, hour one. On Thursdays, we'll hear from the Husker volleyball coach before they get back into league play again here this weekend. We do want to hear from you. Your thoughts on Husker sports, 402-413-2400 with a call or a text. Jess, thanks for filling in for me last night. What a gritty, tough win. I think that game Saturday, and I know you and Damon talked a lot about it last night, was kind of the way we thought it would be. A hard-fought, fairly low-scoring, points would be at a premium type of game, but I think Nebraska needed to win a game like that just to prove to themselves they can win tight games.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to see, for as good as the defense has been, and statistically, you aren't where you are in the top of the nation, not giving up rushing defense or rushing touchdowns without doing some things right. But I still didn't feel like you saw just there's that swagger that we saw at times last year that continued to develop last year. There may be some times that they were a little frustrated. They didn't get off the field, maybe with the tackling, but boy, it was back on Saturday. And so for them to know, you think about all the times last year where they were like, okay, we're going out there, we're going to go win this football game. And it was back on Saturday that it was, hey, they knew that it was on them to win that football game. They had to get stops, and they did it. They had no problem doing it. And, it was a couple weeks ago that they were saying the offense carried us. I think it was like a couple weeks ago where maybe it was Illinois that the offense was rolling, but the defense wasn't playing up to their standard. And so I think just for as good as they've been, and statistically the numbers speak for themselves, but it was just a different kind of the way that they were carrying themselves. It was good to see out of the black shirts.
They had an air about them. They were nasty on Saturday, and I love that. And still no rushing touchdowns halfway through the season. That is absolutely remarkable. I don't care who we played. I mean, you keep a team from running the football into the end zone on you in 6 straight games. That is truly remarkable. So these guys deserve a week off. And
the fact that there have been some games that the Huskers have been able to put in their backups. So then the fact that their backups haven't allowed a rushing touchdown either. It's not just they've been in these close games every single game, that it's been the ones out there every single minute of every single game. They've been able to, we heard Coach Rhule talk about the first couple of games, UTEP, even Colorado, they got some guys out there, Purdue. You still had some guys that they were able to get some experience. That the standard doesn't change. When Nash and Ty are sitting over there on the bench and Jamari and all those guys, they expect the same thing out of those guys that are running out there to play behind them. And so the fact that, yes, the ones have not given up the touchdowns, but, I mean, there's been some opportunities that you've had 2s and 3s in there that they haven't given up the rushing touchdown either.
Ty played 61 snaps Saturday. That is hard to do at that position because you're getting, particularly him, he's getting leaned on and double-teamed almost every snap, having to try to fight his way through that. He's playing at such a high level, and both he and Nash are just playing. And I think we knew that could happen, and it really has for Nebraska. So I'm glad those guys get a little bit of downtime this week to kind of let their bodies heal up and get ready for a couple of huge road games, Indiana and Ohio State, coming up for this team. On our text line, Dr. J out in Kearney says, do we have a quarterback controversy in Lincoln? Dylan's quarterback rating wasn't all that great this past Saturday, and Brian Bushini's was 100. I think maybe we do. Maybe Brian Bushini's a quarterback there, Dr. J.
Well,
I'm just kidding, folks.
It was a really nice throw. We'll give him that. And Coach Rule said he's got one of the better arms on the team, and that they knew that they were going to be able to pull that off with him. But yeah, I don't know if I'd quite go that far. We also had a couple people that chimed in yesterday that wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I knew you wouldn't read those. So, and then people in the chat too wanted to make sure and see how your birthday was. But also, I told them you tell us all about the Chiefs game. So you got to update us on that too.
I will. I'll do that later in the hour, but I will definitely tell you about my experience of the Chiefs game last night. I had a wonderful deal, and I want to thank a group that helped put that whole thing together. We'll get into that later on in the hour. But I did have a great birthday because we won, right? I mean, a 14-7 Husker win. I was all giddy walking out of the stadium Saturday night, sitting there at 5-1. Loved every minute of it. And I know some people get bored with those kind of games, not a lot of scoring. I love them. I think that's kind of football. When you're getting dirty and getting, like I said, nasty. I think the black shirts were nasty Saturday night. I think that's fantastic. And you watch a lot of college football, nobody can stop anybody. And to me, I get kind of bored with that a little bit. That's okay, but I love it when defenses are flexing their muscles. And I thought Rutgers' defense played really hard too, Jess. I kept saying it during the broadcast. Hey, this is a good defense. I mean, there's no shame in not moving the football all the time against this group.
Rutgers is a good team overall. You know, I mean, they have a really good running back, which we heard all about last week. And, you know, they're big and physical, and they do a lot of the things that Nebraska wants to do. And, yeah, that's a tough defense. And they're a well-coached defensive team. So it was going to be a battle, and I think this team understood that. And but the fact that they were able to pull that one out, because there might have been times in the past that and even Coach Rule had said this and talked about this, and I saw it too on the sideline, that maybe there were times where you give up that late touchdown, or you have some of the things that go a certain way that is not your way at any given point in a game, and there was no panic whatsoever in this team, and they were very, very confident despite no matter what was going on in that game. It was like they felt like, okay, this is our day, that we are going to win this close game and this hard-fought battle, and we're not going to not let anybody else have any say in it. And so, you know, even and Coach Rule talked about this too, for his maybe of a quote-unquote tough night Dylan had. Besides the interception, he took good care of the football, and you know, you didn't give them opportunities. Yes, you have a couple of the block punts, but you know, you score in the red zone when you get there in the first half, and you take that lead in the second half. And this team knew all along you cannot let Rutgers take a lead, that it's important to get a lead on a team like Rutgers, and they did that. And so a lot of the keys that they needed to do, they did. And then when the going got tough, they didn't panic at all. They were locked in, and they were ready to figure out. Because even in the Illinois game, when it got tight late and Illinois scored and tied it up, you could see it a little bit on the sideline, like uh-oh. But I didn't sense that at all on Saturday, at not a single point, not when Rutgers scored late, not when there was the block punt, not at any point did you see any sense of, oh no, here we go, out of this team. And so I think that really speaks to the growth and what they've been hammering into this team and building on that confidence. And I mean, we've been talking about this for years now, since I've been here, and Sirles talks about it a lot. When you start winning, those dominoes start to fall, and that's when that confidence changes. There's that switch that flips, and you just have a different kind of belief and mindset, and even when the going gets tough, you still believe you're going to win football games, and the only way to get a lot of times the only way to get to that point is to win. And so this team is starting to win some games, and we heard Coach Knighton say last week about how devastated they were after the one loss, and that might not have been the case in the past. And so yeah, I think just even mentally, the kind of the shift that you're seeing in this team is really, really important and really big as you move forward into this tough second half stretch of the Big Ten season.
You do sense a turning the corner kind of moment in this program's history right now, that they are turning the corner from a dark alley to kind of a bright, sunshiny path. And so hopefully keep building on what they did Saturday. Also, I want to say that Coach Rule out Fox Greg Schiano with the wind. I mean, by taking the ball early in the game and then Rutgers kicking into the wind, I think he outfoxed him a couple of different times in that game, and that was big that was able to happen. And you're right. I think one of the whole keys on their board last week, for our coaches' board last week, was get a lead. Make Rutgers swim upstream against us, because they are a hard team to kind of fight your way back through it. So that was really a
and Greg,
key.
they knew that also the wind was going to flip, and so it was multiple kind of chess moves there, and they were tracking it all game long, and even when he came out at half, before you guys tossed down to me, he was asking about the wind and is this how it's going to be, and just again making sure that he managed that right. And we heard him say that at, what was it, Big Ten Media Days, or at some point he had said, he had talked about how much he learned in that regard last season and his first season in the Big Ten, of how important that is and how you manage that. And so this was one of the first games that we've seen the weather play a huge factor, and he absolutely was ready for it. And the players were ready for it, knew exactly what they were going to do, what the situation was. I mean, I did a report on that in the game broadcast, but there are times that you go into the coin toss, and if the other team wins it, sometimes they look back at the coach and then they'll decide, and then maybe they'll hesitate. But Coach Rule has a long conversation with those captains. They know exactly what the coaching staff wants them to do, how they need to answer, how they need to communicate to the referees. And so there was no hesitation whatsoever. And even the referee was like, you want the ball? Everybody was like, we want the ball. We want the ball. And so it's, just the fact that they were prepared for that moment. They knew what it was going to take, and they had been preparing for it all week and watching the weather closely all week.
Speaking of the weather, this question, I think you're better equipped to handle this than I did. How did the Husker players handle the heat on Saturday?
Yeah, the fact that the benches are in the shade helps a lot. They had the fans going, but it's been warm here. So I don't think it's anything that this team was not ready for. And it dropped significantly once, really in the second quarter, things started to change a little bit. And so it was hot during pregame, but I don't think it was as hot, once we kicked it off and we moved, and that, they can come over and sit in the shade. It definitely was not bad in the shade at all. So that's the luxury of being on that sideline. But, it's been warm here. So they've been practicing in this heat. So I think it was something that they were prepared for.
Okay, very good. Also, Ron says, well, what gives the two teams that we beat are rated higher than us? The only team that's ranked that we've played, I think, is Illinois, right, Jess? I mean, Rutgers is not ranked. They weren't ranked when we played them.
They were receiving votes. Both Nebraska and Rutgers were receiving votes going into that game.
Yeah, but Illinois is the only one that's ranked, and Colorado's not ranked, but they're getting votes, I think. But so, Ron, I guess I'm confused with it, because the top 25 poll, the only team that we played that's in there, and right now, is Illinois. All right. We need to step aside because we got the big dog. He's waiting in the wings to kind of fill us in on all things Huskers. The latest Sideline Sirles is out. We'll play a clip of that coming up here in just a couple minutes. Keep those texts coming. Love the interaction with the folks at 402-413-2400. It's a Tuesday Sports Nightly Edition here on the Huskers Radio Network.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough.
Get a 2024 Ford Super Duty for 1.9% with Ford Credit Financing, or get $2,000 bonus cash only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
In the game of life, we all face tough moments. Sometimes it feels like we're up against a formidable defense with no way through. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the final whistle. Reach out, speak up, and let's tackle this together. Because in Nebraska, we're more than a team. We're family. Remember, in times of need, call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Is your phone system holding you back? We know how important smooth, reliable communication is for your success. Whether your team is working from the office or on the go, you need a phone system that keeps up with your busy day. At Hamilton, we offer business phone systems that adapt to your needs, making every call clear and every connection simple. Upgrade to a Hamilton business phone system where advanced features meet unmatched reliability. Are you ready to transform how you communicate? Better phones, better business. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Last season was a banner year for the Huskers, winning 5 Big Ten titles. Nebraska also finished in the top 25 in the Directors' Cup standings. Beardmore Subaru congratulates Husker Athletics and Nebraska student athletes for all their achievements and stands behind you again this season. Go Big Red! Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester, the same trusted SUV it's always been, only more so. Love begins with trust.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots, we're born to raise at Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough.
Now get 1.9% financing on a brand new 2024 F-150 or Super Duty, only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
With the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Earlier today, I got a chance to chat with Jeremiah Sirles as a part of this week's edition of the Sideline Slice presented by Valentino's Pizza. We wanted to bring you a portion of that conversation now. Sirles, how much better is it to go into a bye week with a win as opposed to a loss?
Oh, it cannot be stated enough of how wonderful it is going into a bye with a good taste in your mouth. I mean, any person who's played anything competitive knows that if you lose a game, it just doesn't sit well with you. You can't wait to get back out on the court or the field or whatever it is and just try and flush that feeling and that taste of a loss out of your mouth. And then when you have to go into a bye week and sit in that and stew in that for multiple weeks, it's the worst. Versus you go into a win with the bye week, it allows for so much more of self-reflection, looking back on, okay, what have we done well? What do we need to improve on? But at least we won. Right? You can always fall back. Like, you're getting grilled in the meeting room about things you got to get better on. You're like, yeah, I absolutely have to improve on that. But, man, at least it didn't cost us a football game. At least we won. So it's just such a good morale going in and being above 500, only one loss, one blemish on the record. I mean, morale should be at an all-time high for the Huskers.
Is this about where you thought Nebraska would be?
No.
No?
I'm going to be very honest with you. I did not anticipate us having a chance to be 6-0, but to really be looking at 5-1. I mean, we're one overtime drive away from being 6-0, and going into this season, question marks at the quarterback position because he's a true freshman. Is he going to be great? Is he going to be average? Is he going to be somewhere in between? And to see the way that he's played and to see the way that this defense has clicked and everything going through, I was hoping we could get to the bye at, 3 wins, maybe sneaking out 4 wins and looking at, okay, need a couple wins in October and November to get us to a bowl game. But to go into the bye week at 5-1, one game away from earning a bowl bid, I'll be the first to admit I did not anticipate looking at this, but I am sure happy that it's happening.
I think a lot of people are as well. Well, let's dive into the win, 14-7. The Huskers have to grind it out. It was so windy. It was crazy during warm-ups. I don't think I've ever been a part of a windier game, and that's saying something because I grew up in Oklahoma and was at Oklahoma for a while, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains. And so it was just, you knew that it was going to play a factor, but for the defense to grind it out the way that they did, just overall, how did you take away, reflect on that win, the 14-7 win over Rutgers?
Yeah, first of all, Rutgers is a good football team.
Yeah.
They were undefeated. They played really good defense. They didn't turn the ball over. And so, sorry, Greg, I know you wanted your question of the week on our Pick'em segment to be no turnovers, but to get 2 turnovers from that defense against that Rutgers team cannot be overstated. That was huge reason why we won that football game. And so the defense picked up right where I had hoped they'd pick up, and being aggressive, not allowing the quarterback to get comfortable, getting after Callie McManus, all those things. So I was extremely happy with the way that our defense performed. I was a little sad in the execution of our offense. I was hoping that we'd build off the second half of Purdue and walk out here and just bing, bang, boom, execute, everyone hitting on all cylinders. But it was kind of a little bit like I talked about last week on the pod of it just felt clunky. And I know that we couldn't throw the ball the way we wanted to with the wind and whatnot, and I feel like we are, as much as it pains me to say, a pass-first offense. But we have to continue to find the rhythm on offense, to not put so much strain on our defense, to give ourselves a chance to go get lead and put points on the board. And then obviously we got to still continue to figure out our kicking game.
You've talked a lot about that too, just and the importance of that in some of these games, just the field position. And it just seemed like the offense just had, boy, they were backed up a lot, and so how does that affect just, what you want to do? We heard Coach Rule talk a little bit about that, and you got to work through it. But how do you work through it, first of all, but then how difficult is that when you're backed up there time and time again?
It's so hard. Being backed up is such a difficult situation, and you practice it every single week, but it's not something you want to do multiple times a game. You know, you want to be backed up maybe once or twice, and the goal is always to get the first down. And I know that sounds simple, and everyone's going, well, yeah, obviously, Sirles, you got to get the first down. But when you're in that situation, you have to just focus one play at a time, and because the mistakes that can happen when you're backed up lead to critical errors. They lead to safeties, they lead to sack fumbles, and those type of things. So everything's got to be more buttoned up and polished. So you just really want to try and get that first down, get some flow going. And again, we just never really got going where we could get that first down and then get the second and then get back and flip the field. You know, it always felt like it was kind of an adventure. And when you're living in that as an offense, it's just hard because you feel like you have no rhythm. You feel like things are stacking up against you, and then you look up the scoreboard going, man, we're still in this game. Like, it feels like, it almost felt like on times on offense, like, man, are we winning this game? Like, it just felt like that angst, that anxiety, a little bit of what we felt last year, and I didn't love that coming out of the offense. But it is also a testament to the offense that they didn't let that panic, they didn't let that rattle, and we didn't have that disastrous error when we're backed up in the shadow of our own goal line.
You know, Coach Rule wasn't as critical of Dylan Raiola as maybe the outside media were. You know, just it wasn't his cleanest game. It wasn't his prettiest game that he played. But and I think even on the sideline, you know, I could just see a little bit more frustration than you normally see from Dylan. He did throw the interception there too. But what will he learn, I guess? He's such a student of the game and dives into the film. What will he take away from that performance? What will be the biggest things that he will learn from?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that I'm employing him to learn is when things aren't going great, you don't have to put the Superman cape on. You don't have to think, okay, I'm the only one that can lead us out of this funk. I got to put it all on my shoulders as the 18-year-old that's been here since January, and I have to be the one that gets us out of this thing. You've got playmakers. You've got a bunch of people around you. It's okay to dish the ball out and take the 8-yard gain, even though you feel like you might be able to stick it into that crosser that's the 20-yard over the top. Get the ball out of your hands, get into the playmaker's hands, and don't feel like you have to force things. Don't back up out of the pocket and try and spin out and play an NCAA video game, because this is real-life football, and that's really hard to protect as a tackle when you're 12 yards deep. Climb the pocket, scramble for 2 or 3 yards, go down, live to fight another day, and that's just stuff that comes with experience. That's just things that you can't do in practice. You can't do it unless you're just out there on Saturdays living it. And that comes with the growing pains of having a young quarterback. And to have him have a game like he did and to still get out with a win, it's so refreshing because he didn't completely implode. I've seen young quarterbacks that have struggle games like that throw multiple interceptions, right? The first one leads to 2, the 2 leads to 3, and he did a nice job of taking care of the football and not trying to force it too much when he felt like he might have needed to. But I think he's going to learn a lot from this game of just understanding how to rely more on the people around him and not feeling like he has to do everything. Coach
Rule was asked at the press conference, he was asked about getting Heinrich Haarberg more involved, and that's been something I think we heard quite a bit on Big Red Reaction. I know it's been something that people want to know, seeing that we've seen a couple of plays with Heinrich involved. But he said, yeah, you know, he should play more, but also we've got a lot of playmakers that I'm sitting here saying we got to get Thomas Fidone the ball more. We got to get Carter Nelson the ball more. What's the challenge for an offense when you have that many playmakers and you want to make sure that you're spreading the ball around, but then you have these other guys that, we got to figure out a way to get him in too?
I go back and forth on the Haarberg thing because I get it. He's a phenomenal athlete. We want to make sure we're trying to get him the ball when we can. But he's also the backup quarterback.
Right.
Right? Like, it's like, if he goes out there and he's playing tight end and he gets just crushed over the middle, and now you're sitting there going, oh, shoot, he's our backup quarterback. Now we have to be more careful with Dylan, and we got to make sure we do this, that, and the other thing. So I totally get the Satterfield and the rule of wanting to involve a great playmaker and a great athlete like Haarberg, but also having to protect the team's best interest. The team's best interest is having a quarterback that can go in if all of a sudden Dylan Raiola hits his hand on a helmet or his shoe falls off or whatever it is. You have to have confidence in the backup quarterback that can go in and can win you football games. And Coach Rule's right. He's not going to just come in and fix all of the issues. We have the playmakers for the first time in probably 5 years that I really feel like, okay, 18's covered, where's 4? Okay, 4's covered, where's 24? Okay, where's Carter Nelson? Where's all these guys? Where's
Corey Barney?
Ramir Johnson, right?
Jalen
Where's
Lloyd.
Barney? There's Jalen Lloyd. Where's Dowdell coming out of the backfield? Ramir Johnson coming out of the backfield? Emmett Johnson coming out of the backfield? It's not a lack of weapons. It goes back to what I said. It's a lack of execution. The call is the call. Satterfield's going to put the call in, and whether it's a pass, a run, an RPO, whatever it is, it's up to the 11 guys on the field to execute and go 11 for 11, because all it takes is one guy, 1/11th, to not do his job, and the play is totally foobarred, completely. And if you have one guy missing here and one guy missing there and a missed assignment here, a missed assignment there, it can make it look like everyone on the offense is playing poorly. And I think that was a little bit of what happened last week, is it wasn't just one guy that was like, oh, this dude's wrecking the game for us or whatever it might be. Everyone took their turn of having their play not allow the play to execute properly. And so Rule's right. We have plenty of playmakers. It's just about on a consistent basis going out there and executing, going 11 for 11 on every single play.
You know, another thing that he's brought up too is just the run game and, you know, wanting to average around, I think, 180 yards a game, but that he has kind of said more so the issue of not being able to break off those bigger runs. And, you know, even with the Jalen Lloyd, after the fake punt and Bushini gets it to Lloyd, he gets ankle tackled, you know, just stuff like that just get tripped up maybe by one guy. How does that change to where you are getting by that one guy and able to execute that big home run play?
Yeah, so much of it is when you're lacking what he's referring to as explosive plays, right? An explosive play, we had different metrics for it when I played in the league. Some teams it was 12-plus yards, other teams it was 18-plus yards. And, you know, that's really the only way you're going to get to that obtainable 180 to 200-yard rushing games, is you have to have some explosive rushes. The problem is when you don't have a bunch of them, people start getting a little anxious, and by I mean the ball carriers, and start feeling like they need to force it, right? Like, I got to bounce this one to get that explosive play, and oh crap, there's the unblocked corner making the tackle for 2 yards. Instead of just trusting it, and Satterfield trusting it of, hey, this play is going to be a 1 to 2 to 3 yard run in the first quarter. But if we just keep leaning on it and leaning on it and leaning on it, eventually that defense is going to get tired. Eventually that defense is going to make a mistake. And if the running back just continues within the scheme, that's how you break the one ankle tackle, and then you're off to the races. And I know it's not sexy to say and it's not fun to do, but you don't scheme explosive plays. You really don't. Like, you have the fun gimmicks every now and then with the double reverses, or, you know, the spit it out and the throwbacks or whatever it might be. But the great teams that have the explosive plays are the ones that play within the scheme and just allow the big play to happen over the course of the game instead of trying to force it when maybe it's not the right time.
Is that a running back situation? Like, are the holes being there? Are the holes being opened by the offensive line?
Yes and no. It goes back to my previous point that, you know, at times there's holes, but then there's times that one guy's sliding off on the linebacker and missing him. Or all of a sudden one guy's splitting our double team, and so there's a guy sitting in the hole. And it just goes back to a great run game means great execution by everyone involved in the blocking scheme, all the way out to the receivers. The number one metric for explosive plays is receivers blocking. Is receivers doing the dirty work of trying to go in there and dig out a box safety, or push cracking on a safety and leaving the corner there as the one unblocked man to let the running back miss, because historically corners aren't the best tacklers. But if a receiver's kind of lackadaisical getting in there, or not fully committing and getting in there and digging out those guys, those were the safeties sitting there in the hole at 6 yards, and now you no longer have the explosive run. It's a 6-yard gain. And so it just goes back to, yes, sometimes the holes are there, and I feel like there's a couple run reads that some of the guys missed. But I would say from a consistent play-by-play basis, we have to be better executing the called runs so that Satterfield has more confidence in calling the runs. Because I played with a lot of offensive coordinators, and nothing will scare an offensive coordinator out of the run game than negative runs early. Nothing. the whole game plan can get thrown out the window because the quarterback and the offensive coordinator are sitting there going all week long, we're going to run the ball, we're going to run the ball, we're going to run the ball. And then his first 3 called runs are for 1 yard, 2 yard, -1. We can't run the football, right? They just panic. Every offensive coordinator in the world panics when it comes to that. No one's immune to it at any level, NFL, college, high school. And so much comes to, hey, offensive line and Coach Raiola saying, hey, guys, we have to give Satterfield and we have to give these running backs confidence early in the game that we can open the holes, we can show what we can do so they can continue to give us called runs. We don't have to live in a drop back situation.
Again, that was Jeremiah Sirles and a portion of this week's Sideline Slice presented by Valentino's Pizza. You can listen to that full conversation out now on our podcast platforms and our YouTube channel as well. As it usually is, a long, lengthy conversation. We got into a lot of different stuff with Sirles, so you can check out that full conversation out now. And as always, the Sideline Slice is presented by Valentino's Pizza, the official pizza of the Huskers. We're going to step aside for a break here on Sports Nightly. More to come after this.
Cyber threats are everywhere. When is the last time you stopped to think about how you're protecting your business from potential data breaches, phishing scams, or ransomware? It's time to make cybersecurity a priority for your business. At Hamilton, our unmatched expertise and cutting-edge technology goes beyond basic defense, providing proactive, tailored solutions that keep your data, network, and digital assets protected. Better protection, better cybersecurity with Hamilton. Visit our website at hamiltonisbusiness.com to learn more.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
In the game of life, we all face tough moments. Sometimes it feels like we're up against a formidable defense with no way through. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the final whistle. Reach out, speak up, and let's tackle this together. Because in Nebraska, we're more than a team. We're family. Remember, in times of need, call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to goodrx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
A lot can happen between falling in love with a house online and owning it, between imagining living there and breathing in your new home for the first time. Having an advocate who can help you navigate the complex world of financing, inspections, negotiating, analyzing the market, and talking through any anxieties that may pop up, that can make all the difference. That's what the expertise of a Realtor can do for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and bound by a code of ethics, because that's who we are.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Hello, Husker Nation. This is Lex Rodriguez, All-American Libero, serving you an ace on behalf of Noddle Companies based in Omaha, Nebraska. Noddle Companies is a full-service leader in commercial real estate, digging deep to create thriving communities like the Builders District, Exarban Village, and the contemporary row house townhomes. They bring world-class concepts in fashion, great eats, gorgeous homes, and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. To dig up more information, find them on Facebook and Instagram. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, aka fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Tuesday night. Good to hear the big dog in the last segment. Again, the full podcast is out, so that's only a little bit of it. So there's a lot more in there for you to go dive into. Maybe on your way to work tomorrow or while you're working tomorrow, you can listen to some of that. Some really good texts have come in during the hour tonight. Carla, I have a question concerning the fine for storming the football fields by Vanderbilt and Arkansas this past weekend. Is this an SEC rule? And if so, has it always been a rule or recent addition? Seems a bit harsh to punish your own fan base at their own stadium for pulling off a victory. It is an SEC rule. Recent, probably within the last 10 years. I believe the Big 12 may have a similar rule. The Big 10 does not. And I think it's basically in there for safety reasons, Jess, that, you know, you're bringing all these massive humanity around football players and coaches and stuff, and the emotions are pretty hot, and you just, I think
the beverages are flowing.
Yep. So you just worry about other things happening. I think that's why they try to discourage it by offering up these fines.
Yeah, and I think with each, like with the court storming too, because they actually have the fines in court storming too, and with each one it goes up. Because I believe I don't even remember what team it was, but there was at one point one of them said, "Oh, we'll take the $20,000 fine, whatever it is." But you know, it's you and I have had this discussion too. It kind of stinks because it's part of college basketball, but we saw some instances last year, and same thing with football. We've seen it for years and years, but there are the safety issues. I mean, I don't know if you saw the video that was going around about I think it was Tennessee. Was it the Tennessee player that pushed down one of the a fan that rushed the field? Did you see that?
I didn't.
Okay.
No.
There was a couple that had jumped off, and then they ran into one of the players. The players pushed the guy. The guy went into the girl. They both went down. It was a pretty hard shove. And so you know, it was floating around on my social media too, but, you know, there are people on both sides of the aisle saying, well, yeah, you shouldn't push somebody, but then also, hey, that's what you get if you're going to rush the field type of thing. So, you know, there's just stuff like that happens. But, yeah, I do think it goes up, though, with every time that it happens. At least for basketball, I'm pretty sure it does. I'm pretty sure you're right. Matt Painter last year, Purdue head basketball coach. Huskers beat them. Nebraska fans stormed the court. Cool scene. He afterwards said, we need to do something. So I think you've got to push, and some people in the Big Ten, to maybe follow suit with the SEC. But as of right now, there is no rule like that
in the Big Ten Conference. Doesn't mean that can't change at some point in time, but it hasn't at this point. Tom in Lincoln wants to know what's the likelihood of us getting a grass field. Tom, I think all signs point to a grass field being installed in 2026 at Memorial Stadium, so we'd have one more year of the turf. The turf isn't that old. I think they want to get another year or two out of the turf before they tear it up and put the grass in. But I think all signs, unless, Jess, you're hearing something different, I think all signs point to grass.
Yeah, I think it's coming for sure.
Which, Matt Rule, that's something he wants. John in Omaha says, going into the season, if you'd asked me if I would take 5-1 with the win over Colorado at this point, heck yes. Go Big Red. Yeah, John, I think so. I think, at the midway point, 5-1 from where we've been as a program, absolutely it's a giant step forward. And I think that's why I kind of had my dander up last week. I knew how big a game that was with Rutgers, because to me, 5-1 and 4-2 that's like different worlds in a lot of ways. So, Jess, that's why I was really adamant. And the crowd was great. And they certainly rose to the occasion. But I knew that was a big game on Saturday with the Rutgers.
Yeah, and I think the Illinois game was such a learning moment for as much as it still is just lingering in the back of their minds, knowing that they let one slip away and they could be 6-0. But I do think they took a lot away from it. I think there were a lot of positives that really lit a fire under this team that I think is going to pay dividends going into games here on the back half of the season that maybe they wouldn't, some of those lessons have learned if they had 6 wins and not that one loss.
Absolutely. Keep them coming, folks. 402-413-2400. We need to slip a break in and back to wrap up hour one next.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Tuesday night. No football game on Saturday. Our next volleyball broadcast will be Friday. Huskers take on the Purdue Boilermakers at the Devaney Center. 7:30, first serve for that match. 402-413-2400. Children of the Corn on the text line said, shout out to the chat room. Happy birthday, Greg. If we can hold them under 24 points next week, we will win. I'm thinking 31-20. Indiana hadn't seen a defense like Nebraska's at all. Now, they're really competent, good on offense, playing with a lot of swagger right now. It should be a heck of a football game. And both teams have bye weeks. So both teams, Jess, have 2 weeks to get ready for this thing. Almost in a way, kind of a season opener type feel to the game.
Yeah, but, like you said, though, you'd hope that because it's just a whole different animal when you face a physical football team, a big physical football team that wants to win in the trenches. A lot of teams that just, score a lot of points and have those elite skill positions do not do well in those matchups, as we saw with Colorado earlier in this game, but yet then they're still matching up with other teams very well. So, yeah, we'll see how Indiana handles it, but they certainly have not seen a defensive line like Nebraska has had, that's for sure.
It's going to be a fun battle. It should be a heck of a football game. Pretty much the rest of them we're going to play, folks, are going to be really tightly contested games. Our old friend Carter says, wasn't it crazy how the balloons in the stadium went swirling around? Happy birthday to Greg. Carter, it was phenomenal. And that, as much wind as there was Saturday, I wasn't sure some of those were going to make it out of the stadium. It was wild.
And Coach Rule pointed that out, too. He was like, look at the balloons. Like, while they were standing there waiting, I think it was for the team to come out. He's like, look at all the balloons. Some of them got loose, and they were just kind of just trickling around, hanging out in the stadium. But, it was not a good day to be a balloon.
No, tough day for a balloon. 1 hour of the books. That was fun. Folks, keep those texts coming. We'll go back with a little bit of the dig. Lindsey Peterson is our guest this week. Back with hour 2 after this.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Last season was a banner year for the Huskers, winning 5 Big Ten titles. Nebraska also finished in the top 25 in the Directors' Cup standings. Beardmore Subaru congratulates Husker Athletics and Nebraska student athletes for all their achievements and stands behind you again this season. Go Big Red! Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester, the same trusted SUV it's always been, only more so. Love begins with trust.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough.
Get a 2024 Ford Super Duty for 1.9% with Ford Credit Financing, or get $2,000 bonus cash only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Good evening. I'm Camden Cohn, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Earlier today, Husker Wrestling announced their schedule for the upcoming season. Nebraska will face 6 of the top 25 finishers from last season's NCAA championships. The Big Red will open the season at home November 8th against Utah Valley. The conference season features 4 home duels and 4 on the road. Nebraska's home duels include matchups with Minnesota, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Indiana. For more information and the rest of the schedule, visit Huskers.com. In the NFL, the New York Jets fired head coach Robert Saleh earlier today after a 2-3 start to the season. Jets owner Woody Johnson said, quote, "This is probably the best team I've had in 25 years. I just felt that the best way to go forward was a new direction," end quote. The Jets will host the Bills on Monday night. Finally, there are 2 more Major League Baseball playoff games tonight. Currently, the Mets lead the Phillies 7-2 in the 9th, and later tonight, just after 8, the Padres host the Dodgers. Both series are tied at a game each. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
They are bunched up around the line of scrimmage. Hand off to Dowdell off the right side. Touchdown, Nebraska. Dante Dowdell finds Pater. 6-0 Big Red. Let those balloons loose. 4th and 10 from the 26. Shotgun for Kaliak Menace. Gets the belt high snap. Has some time. Gets hit. Goes down. Huskers will take over on downs. James Williams again gets home.
Long drive served by Alexi. Okay pass Lily Berry. Left side tip shot popped in the air. Easy dig for Nebraska. Fed left. Harper. Kaboom! Whoa! Putting dents in the Huff Hall deck. Timeout, Illinois. Wow! Harper Murray. Bang! Douse at the net. Here come the Hawkeyes. Bumped over to the left. Gabby Jerry tipping. Great pancake. Bring out the special. Kennedy. Left side tip shot off the blocking out. Taylor Landfair. That's volleyball. 16-6.
Now, here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are back for hour number 2 of our Tuesday night show. Hope you had a great day today. Beautiful weather outside. Made a drive back from Kansas City earlier today, and a lot of guys out in the field. A lot of harvest going on. A lot of it's done. Looks like a lot of the corn kind of been picked through. I think there's some bean fields still to be attacked. But all this dry weather, they have not been stopped at all. And unfortunately, a lot of us want the moisture, but there's nothing in the forecast. It's good, though, for harvest. They can get in there and be uninterrupted. I'm going to talk more about the Kansas City thing here in a minute, but I do want to start the hour. College sports, they're going to start to shorten these transfer portal windows. The NCAA Division I Council voted today to shorten the windows from 45 days to 30. So for college football, there are 2 windows. The winter transfer window, December the 9th through December 28th. So that's about a 20-day window. And then during spring football, April 16th to the 25th, you can officially enter portal and be made contact with schools that may have an interest in you. So that's gone from 45 days down to 30. College basketball also will follow the same reduction down to 30 days, starting at the end of the second round of the NCAA tournament. So when the first weekend is over, the portal will open up for 30 days at that point in time for college basketball. I think that's okay. The college football coaches, Jess, really wanted to just get away from the spring one at all. So that's fine. You want to do an end of the season portal. Great. Get rid of the spring. But I think the NCAA is pretty gun shy because they keep losing all these court cases to student athletes about limitation of their rights. I think can't do that. We're going to have 2 different windows for football, one after the season and one kind of toward the end of spring football practice. But I'm okay with this. So all these changes are still coming. We're going to change the roster sizes, limit them to 105 next year, which is going to really impact Nebraska's walk-on group. So this will all be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I feel like, though, the more that they're going to be able to get and take advantage of, like the revenue share, the more maybe restrictions that are going to be coming for how you can just leave an up-and-go program. I feel like that's right. You got to think that that's coming. Contracts, I don't know, maybe not, but the fact that you've got all this money involved now, and that's been a big part of it, that it's not just going to be a free-for-all anymore, I don't think, because now you're getting a lot of that, a lot of the stuff that comes along with that. I feel like there might be a little bit more of the limitations, so it's not just, you just get. There's going to be, I feel like, some of the things that you've got to be able to structure it a little bit more, to have some sort of parameters to how you navigate this, because it's just, I think a lot of people haven't enjoyed the transfer portal as much. I mean, I know that there are some teams that certainly benefit from it more, and Nebraska in a lot of sports has certainly benefited from the transfer portal. But I feel like with the more money that now is going to be going out, the more kind of incentives that maybe there will be some of those restrictions. And I don't know how you can continue to, like you said, with the court cases, that's always the issue. But I feel like there's got to be some sort of structure to this thing moving forward, that it's not just, here, let's just keep giving you money and you can leave and go whenever you want. Hopefully you can pull back a little bit on some of that.
To your point, I feel like the pendulum has swung a little bit too far one way, to the players at this point in time. I remember the days, and it was like 3 years ago, that we were passing the one-time transfer rule. And I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that. You go to the recruiting process as a high school junior and senior. You make your selection. You get there, and it's not quite right, or the coach that maybe recruited you is gone. And so you go, you know what, I'm gonna try somewhere else. I'm okay with that. But now it's unlimited, and some of these guys are on their fourth and fifth school. I just don't think that's in the spirit of what this all should be about. Again, 3 years ago, I was good with the one-time transfer, but now it's just willy-nilly. These players are going different places.
Yeah, and I think that with the more benefits that they get, I mean, they should be able to transfer, and if coaches change or if circumstances present themselves, but just to kind of have the open door policy, it feels like at all times, it really does feel like there's a lot of times to transfer and enter that portal. And I don't know if you're given enough chances to the programs and to be able to know if it's a good fit or not. But the more that, now that you're getting these benefits and you're now afforded a lot of these luxuries that come along with that, then maybe there should be some restrictions on some of these things, Before, when you weren't getting, when the athletes weren't getting their, fair share, according to the courts, of some of this revenue, then maybe you had some different arguments. But I feel like the more that you're going to become more like an employee, the more that some of those restrictions should be put in place, so that it's not just continuing to be the wild, wild west, as a lot of people have referred to it here over the last few years.
There's also a very interesting meeting going to be taking place tomorrow in Nashville, a place you're headed to later this fall, with the ADs from the SEC and the Big Ten getting together to talk about maybe a scheduling alliance where during the football season, one of your non-conference games is against a team from that other league. Which, how cool would that be, as if we had a yearly opponent from the SEC and we rotated different schools that we played in the SEC. I think that'd be kind of fun. So that meeting's going to be going on tomorrow. So be looking for some news popping on social media tomorrow with that. Now, whether these ADs talk, some of them like to talk. So I think we'll probably get a little bit of information coming out of that meeting tomorrow in Nashville. But it's never going to, it's always changing, folks. And I know it's kind of hang on, and we kind of feel lost at times. Like, when did that happen? When did that go on? And this is another continuing path with this meeting between these ADs that'll be going on tomorrow in Nashville. Also wanted to talk about, I was asked to talk about my Chiefs experience. Well, there's a fantastic organization in Omaha called Memories for Kids, and they deal with people who have terminal illness and maybe try to create a memory for their family. And my daughters, because of me, have become huge Chiefs fans, but they've never been to a Chiefs game. And so that was the memory we chose to kind of put together. We had to get my middle daughter back from Florida to come join us, but with the help of my great friend Mitch Holtis, the voice of the Chiefs, I had just a fabulous time at Arrowhead yesterday. Went down there, got down on the sidelines while the teams were warming up. It was part of the Chiefs pregame show where they were honoring cancer patients as the organization last night. They had T-shirts, and they made those little cards about I stand for, and you can put a name on the card. They did that during one of the timeouts last night at Arrowhead. So it was really a lot of fun, beautiful night, great game, but I did not meet Taylor Swift. I know that'll disappoint a lot of people. I did not get a chance to meet her, but
You didn't
had
sit in their suite? You didn't sit up there in that suite?
No, I didn't get the invite. Might have got lost in the mail. That's possible. But it was a lot of fun, and I appreciate the folks from that organization, Memories for Kids in Omaha. They do a lot of trips for younger families that maybe want to go to Disney and those type of things. My girls are obviously older, but they created a great memory for us. We had a wonderful time last night. I got to see a bunch of my old Kansas City media friends who I don't see anymore because we're not in the Big 12, so I don't come across a lot of those people that cover Kansas and Kansas State and Missouri and now in the SEC. So it was fun to see a bunch of old friends last night at the game. It was cool. Fun night.
That's awesome. And you had great weather. And how was the crowd? Was it pretty loud?
They were really rambunctious. Something that was pretty remarkable. Camden, you'll find this interesting. While the Chiefs are playing, the Royals, who share the parking lot there with the Chiefs, you have Arrowhead and then Kauffman Stadium right next to each other. Royals are playing the Yankees last night in the playoffs, and 3 or 4 different times the entire stadium started "Let's Go Royals" chants because they were following the game and the Royals got a win. And I'm like, this is crazy. I'm at an NFL game, and I'm hearing these "Let's Go Royals" chants from these fans who are obviously following the game, whether on their phone or whatever. But it was a cool night, and the Chiefs are just remarkable right now. I mean, they're one of 2 undefeated teams. They've got that thing absolutely rolling, and they're just a lot of fun to watch week in and week out. How about the lateral to Travis Kelce? Did you get a chance to see that? He caught a pass, and then he lateraled to another guy, Samaje Perine, former Oklahoma Sooner, threw him a lateral about 20 yards away, and he picked up another 15 yards. Just crazy stuff like that they get it away with.
Yeah, they've obviously got some offensive weapons they can scheme around too. But there was something else I was going to ask you about. Oh, the pregame show, was that the Chiefs pregame show that you were on?
Yeah, Chiefs pregame show on their network, and did a quick segment about my growing up in Kansas City and Chiefs memories. They asked me about Dylan. So we're hearing a lot about Dylan Raiola. You're 15, and he may be hanging out with our 15 a little bit. I go, well, I'll take every bit of that. I said, they're a little bit different players, but we're certainly happy that Dylan's in Lincoln and has had a fabulous start to his college career. But I don't want to put that pressure on him, Jess, to say he's the next Patrick Mahomes. That's a little heavy. Throw that at Dylan right now.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of comparisons. I think we talked about this on the Purdue student section was chanting, "You're not Patrick," and then Dylan, after a touchdown, he was quick to just kind of shush him just a little bit. So you got to love that. On the Raiola note, did you see his younger brother Dayton? How he went viral with his 65-yard touchdown pass?
How can you throw something that far? That's crazy.
He's a lefty, too. I didn't realize he was a lefty. And, boy, you want to talk about a dime. We were talking about Brian Buschini's dime. That was an absolute dime. And he's, of course, committed to the Huskers, too. I got a chance to talk with their mom the other day on Saturday. Just, again, this is the nicest people, nicest family. You can understand why Dylan is wired the way that he is, but pretty cool to see that. And, yeah, I think it'll be neat to see how that journey unfolds, and obviously it's a ways away, but if he's able to come here, maybe still be here with Dylan, how neat that would be. But, she was telling me he's been the diehard Husker fan, as big of a fan as Dylan is, that probably Dayton is even bigger of a fan of the Huskers. So that's what a neat story for that family.
Absolutely. And you're right. There's not an air of arrogance around Dom or anybody in that family. And that's really good to see. And I think some people feel like, oh, Dylan's a spoiled young man who's always gotten his way and done his things. That's not the case. He's not like that really at all. And I think that's why he's been totally accepted in the locker room by his teammates, because he's not that way at all.
Yeah. And I think that's why he's handled the whole Patrick Mahomes, just even the hype, he's very grounded about all of it, doesn't get caught up in all of that. But even when things, it's, again, throughout the course of these 6 games, just seeing how he's celebrated and how much respect he's garnered from so many different guys. And, whether it's Ty Robinson and Jamari Butler to Ben Scott and Jamal Banks and even the younger freshman wide receivers. He just connects with really all the different teammates that he has. But when it wasn't going as well, it was neat to see how guys were quick to go, hey, you're all right, we got you, because when you build that kind of culture and brotherhood that they've talked about, as cliche and corny as it might sound, you want to fight for your guys, and that's what I think it was Marquise Buford was telling me after the game. Like, if things weren't going well for the offense, we wanted to go help them out. Like, I mean, it's not just, oh, great, here we go, we got to go pick up the offense. They wanted to go fight for the offense, and I think that's how they wanted to do with Dylan. Dylan's done so many good things for this team. When things weren't going as well for him, they wanted to do whatever they could to lighten the load for him and say, hey, we got you. We got you this time. So, and that's the marks of a great team. And then I've told this story now a couple different times, but after the game, Dylan, I'm interviewing Brian Buschini, and Dylan walks up, and you can kind of hear it in the background, but he walks up and just gives a big hug to Buschini. Is like, this guy's the best. We love this guy. And is just like so quick to celebrate Brian Buschini. And so there's just so many great things that you see out of that. And for a young quarterback, and you've got, it's just, he's a freshman. He is 18 years old. For him to be navigating and managing this thing the way that he is, it's really, really impressive.
Sure is. Art in Los Angeles, thanks, Canada, on our text line said, my question is, does Indiana have turf or grass? I think the reason the Huskers started slow at Purdue because it was on grass. Art, I don't think Matt Rule would accept that. We practice almost entirely on grass every day, so I'm not sure that would be the case. But Indiana is turf, just like our Memorial Stadium, so it'll be just a surface exactly like what we have. But Jess, I don't think Coach Rule would go, yeah, we didn't play great in the first half because we played on grass. I don't think he'd go for that.
Yeah. No, and for as concerned and as much as you guys had maybe addressed some of the issues with Purdue's grass, maybe, playing it later in the season, I heard a lot of the staff really complimenting the conditions of the grass against Purdue. So I think they again, we've heard him say it, his preference would be to play on grass. A lot of football players prefer to play on grass, so I don't think they had an issue with the grass at all.
Jim in Columbus said, I predicted this, and I don't know how many years ago, that college is turning into semi-pro. You're not wrong, Jim. I mean, it kind of is. The money has certainly found its way to college sports and to college athletes, and I'm not saying that's wrong because they are the product. They're why people are buying tickets, why people are buying jerseys. They need to share in some of that. I have no problem with that at all. But
yeah,
it opens that gate, Jess, as you talked about, to some more perks for these guys that could come with some more restrictions for them.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of, I'm all for it. I think everybody's all for it, where this thing is going. But also, as you said, the pendulum has swung so far one way that now you probably will see it come back a little bit, just with the amount that is tied to some of these guys and just the investment that you're putting in some of these guys. It's just like with any other business, and you got to feel like there might be some restrictions coming back the other way, just to pull it back in a little bit, just when you have so much money involved and so many investments in some of these players.
Love the text, folks. Keep them coming. 402-413-2400. That is on our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. We're back with part of this week's Dig. We'll do that next.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots, we're born to raise at Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
A lot can happen between falling in love with a house online and owning it. Between imagining living there and breathing in your new home for the first time. Having an advocate who can help you navigate the complex world of financing, inspections, negotiating, analyzing the market, and talking through any anxieties that may pop up, that can make all the difference. That's what the expertise of a Realtor can do for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and bound by a code of ethics, because that's who we are.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
This fall, be ready for every tailgate, touchdown, and adventure in a perfect car, truck, or SUV from Sid Dillon Chevrolet. Visit us in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo and shop Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer group. We're also your Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, offering medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards. Visit us at SidDillonChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
It's time again for some Nebraska farm facts. For Nebraska soybean farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices. And they have significant sustainability goals by 2025. 10% more energy efficiency, 10% less land, and 25% less soil erosion. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots, we are born to raise at Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agricultures and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Welcome back, Sports Nightly, here on a Tuesday night. Jessica had a chance this week to record another podcast, The Dig, where it deals with Husker volleyball. This week she sat down with Director of Operations Lindsey Peterson to talk more Husker volleyball.
Excited to welcome back Lindsay Peterson. Thanks for being here with us.
Great to be back and talk some Husker volleyball.
Yeah, a couple of sweeps and first Big Ten road trip at Illinois, then Iowa at home, but got to be pretty pleased with the two performances over the week.
Yeah, it was a good week. The team really showed some resilience. Illinois is a tough place to play. It's a older building. The fans are, they pack it. It's really warm in that building, and we know that they can be a tough team. Having Chris on the other side, he knows how we prepare as well. So our team coming out and playing well on the road, our first Big Ten road match. We hadn't really played in a situation where you're in front of a home student section and a big crowd like we faced at Illinois. So the response from our team was very positive, and it gave them some confidence here as we're starting to get into Big Ten season, and we're going to face that more often now.
And Coach Cook seemed really, really happy with how the Huskers came out on Sunday and responded. They seemed ready to play.
Yeah, I think, it was a little nervous. Our practice on Saturday probably wasn't the cleanest. And anytime you come off of a road match and a win and, you're looking ahead to your next opponent, we've played so many opponents that are rated, top 10, and then you see you're playing an opponent that's not ranked, and you're afraid that your team might let up a little bit or become complacent. And I think he was really satisfied that we still played Nebraska volleyball. We took care of what we take care of on our side of the net and held ourselves to our standard. And that was something that has been a goal of this team and a focus of this team, is we need to always play Nebraska volleyball no matter the opponent on the other side, because that is our strength. And so for our team to come out, and it's a Sunday afternoon, the schedule was off a little bit, and to come out and play that well on a Sunday, I think he was very happy.
Well, no Andy Jackson over those two wins. For a lot of teams, they might panic. What are we going to do without Andy? But in steps Layla Blackwell. How big was she for you guys over these last couple of matches?
Layla was phenomenal the last few matches, and it's not to any surprise. I mean, Layla's a super talented middle blocker. She's very experienced. She's a fifth-year player. And one thing that's so great about Layla, though, is she is a student of the game constantly. And so the matches she hadn't been playing up to this point, she was on the sideline and constantly giving feedback to her fellow teammates and her fellow middle blockers and helping them. And she, was ready to go. And you see her in practice doing the same thing, always trying to raise the bar to get better. So we had no doubts that she would come in and fill that void and do a great job. And you could see that Bergen was really comfortable setting her. And a lot of that goes to Layla and how well she communicates. She makes herself available, and when she's set the ball, if there's a block in front of her, she knows what to do to, still make a play out of it. And so, there was no letdown for, to bring somebody else in. And that's something I would speak for our whole team about. We've had the opportunity to play several players in some of these matches, and that's a strength of ours, because, sometimes when you get nervous as a coach to make those substitutions because you're afraid it might disrupt the rhythm, and our team has continued on that same trajectory, and the level has not dropped at all. They haven't lost focus, and I think that just speaks to the talent on our team and the experience and depth that we have, and how that can be a real positive for us as we continue on through this Big Ten season, because especially with playing back-to-back nights, I mean, you're going to have to rely on your bench because you're going to have some real battles, and it's going to test some players. And so to know that we have confidence in our bench is a big thing for us.
Layla seems like such a sweet person, such a nice person. She seems to be really, really liked. So besides just what she's brought on the court, what has she brought to this program even off the court?
Well, I think it's a type of leadership that, you see she's come from somewhere else. So she's been somewhere else, and she comes and sees what this program's about, and it's brought so much appreciation, and she's so grateful. And for our players to hear that from somebody who has experienced something else, and now they're here, and to say, I can't be more excited or more grateful for having this opportunity, and to be with a team that does X, Y, Z, and a team that fights this hard and competes this hard in practice and has these high goals. And if you've never been anywhere but Nebraska, sometimes you can take that for granted or think it's, not a plus or something to be grateful for. And so to have that constantly, where she makes the most of every opportunity and is truly grateful for each day she has, and in our program, really affects all of our team. And so she's just, like I said, she's a great student of the game. She has a very high volleyball IQ. She's really well liked on the team, and so everyone listens. When she speaks, her voice carries a lot of weight. And I think that says something to somebody who hasn't been a part of the program to come in and be able to step in and have that much value in her voice. It says a lot to her, speaks to her character and the type of person she is.
That's great. You know, it wasn't just Layla. Rebecca Alec also had a big day, and Coach came on and said, Lauren's got to be happy that we really got the middles involved. 18 kills, just 2 errors for the middles. How much of that was an emphasis going into that, wanting to make sure that both middles were really heavily involved?
Yeah, the challenge was on the table for Bergen and the middles. Like we've got to become more balanced. Our middles need to be more of a threat. Obviously, that comes back to our passers. Our passers have to pass well for that to happen, and our passers did a great job yesterday. Bergen was in system. She had the opportunity to run the middles. So it's kind of a full circle thing. Like when you're challenged to be middle dominant offense, then that falls back on the passers, it falls back on ball handling. So everybody has to work hard. Well, you know, if you're an outside dominant team, you don't have to really work that hard on passing. You can be okay passing it on the 10, 12-foot line and know you're still going to run your offense from there because it runs through your outsides. And that's not the type of team we want to be. And you saw that yesterday, how good our middles can be when we get them in action. And that just puts a ton of stress on our opponents when they know that they have to always be ready for our middle and they can't start cheating to our pen attackers. And so, you know, it was just a team effort full circle for that, for our middles to have such a big day. And I know they understand that as well, and they were super appreciative and gave credit to our passers and to Bergen as well for finding them and being comfortable constantly getting them the ball.
So against Illinois, you had 5 service aces, 1 error, and then against Iowa, 7 aces, 1 error. And I believe that's the first time you had 7 and 1 since like 2017. What went into the serving and then the passing on the receive game over these last couple of matches?
Well, you know, we've really talked about serving such a key. Serve and pass is always such a key, but serving is confidence. You know, you go back there and it's just you and the ball and it's your opportunity. And so we work a lot on it, but our players have really embraced it and done a nice job of getting back there and, you know, being comfortable, and coaches, you know, giving them where to serve, but also saying, do what you feel, you know, letting them take a little bit of ownership and responsibility to know they're the ones getting ready to serve it in. So if they don't feel comfortable with the call that he's given them, to know that we want a tough serve. And so they're really driving the ball. They're doing a great job back there of taking ownership of when they get to the service line, trying to make a run for our team. And then, you know, that comes back into, if you start making a run, the confidence overflows to other areas. And you can see how our serving can impact the opponents. I mean, if we're constantly putting pressure on them from the service line, it really disrupts the rhythm of their offense. They, you know, lack confidence back there, while we continue to build confidence. Because if you're confident from the service line, that's going to also affect you in all other areas of the match, in the game. So
how do you guys go about figuring out which people you wanted to send in as a serve specialist? And is it throughout the week? Is it the matchup? Is it a certain situation? Because we've seen a lot of different players that you guys can rely on to come back there and do that role for you guys.
Yeah, it's through practice that they earn that. Sometimes it's, if somebody is struggling serving, we know we have some great servers on the bench, and we talk about game changers on our bench. So having the opportunity when your name's called to go in there, and sometimes it is to go in and really stick a serve and try to make an impact from the service line. So like I said, we really stress serving in practice. We spend a lot of time on it. We, you know, are training it constantly. And so our team understands the importance of that. And then to know that when they have the opportunity, they can really do something to impact our team if they get subbed in to serve. And so yeah, we have a lot of depth in that area as well, which is also another strength, because you know, if the normal rotation's not working that day, we can put somebody in there that can still stress our opponent.
Coach also talked about, you know, with Merritt playing the all 6 rotations, I think it was yesterday, and that was something that you guys are going to want to go to at some point this season. You need to continue to develop that back row attack. So how also does it work when you guys are deciding when you want more defense back there, when you want more of the attacking and the offense with Merritt?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you look at how are we siding out. So if we get stuck in a rotation where you know, Laney has been subbing in for Merritt in back row, and that's the case, we tend to have 3 littles back there, and there's not a lot of offense coming out of the back row, and you have Bergen front row at that time. So in order to stress your opponent, put more pressure on them, and offensively, you have to have a back row attack. So we know we need to continue to develop that, because it just makes us that much more difficult to prepare for. But on the other hand, if we're passing really well and able to side out with just 2 hitters because we're passing real well and they're getting in a rhythm, then we may not need that. And it gives Merritt an opportunity to come out, catch your breath, reset, and then come back in for another round across the front. So it's just another key to our offense and another piece of our offense that we want to know we have in our back pocket and our team is comfortable with and we have a rhythm with. And so continuing to let that play out in matches to develop that and is a key, because we know as we continue on through the season, you have to have a back row attack to be able to move where we want to go for what our goals are.
You know, when you guys talk about the depth and having people that you can call on to come into the game and impact the game, you know, Coach is also talking about how we don't expect players to have their best night every single night. You're going to have off nights. It's just the reality of what it is. But how do you guys as a staff go about letting someone maybe work through it when they're just not starting off right, and then making that call to go to the bench to see if someone else can provide a spark?
Well, I mean, as we all know, volleyball is a game of errors. So that's where we know it's not going to be a perfect night. But a lot of that relies on, you know, coach and how he's feeling and what we see. We want somebody to have the confidence to work through it. We don't want them to be afraid to make a mistake. You know, we train to go and make big plays, and knowing that you may not make it every time. We don't want you to play in fear for you're going to get pulled if you do make a mistake. So there is a fine balance there if you want to give them an opportunity to work through it. But then there's also a point where you feel like your offense is maybe suffering, or you're letting the defense, you know, predict what we're going to do because we're not able to score in those areas. And then that's when a change needs to be made. And sometimes it's just, hey, you need to just reset, take a deep breath, you're fine. We're just going to change things up here. It's a different look. And sometimes that different look is just enough to throw the other team off. They maybe haven't prepared for that attacker and those tendencies or what type of attacker they are. And so that's enough just to throw them off and get us back in a rhythm, and then give that player an opportunity to come back in and restart.
Yeah. One of the players that I have not asked about here on the podcast yet is Olivia Malk and the freshman and the role that she's provided. I know Coach had said back in the spring that she was really impressive, and then throughout preseason, but what has she done to earn her spot that you guys have to put her out there in those certain situations?
Liv is just consistent. I mean, she is a rock. She has ice in her veins. You don't know if she's played the worst match of her career or the best match of her career. She has the same expression. She goes about it the same. She's all business. I think she provides a ton of comfort and stability back there with her teammates because she is so consistent. They trust her. And, you know, that's something, you know, for a freshman, that's a lot to come in and not show any nerves. You would think she's a veteran player the way she plays. And that just speaks to her confidence in her abilities, but also how she's adjusted with this team and where she feels like she is with this team. And, you know, Liv is an extremely talented passer. She's a great passer. She ranks up in the top in the Big Ten right now. And people serve her because she's a freshman, and they're trying to get the ball off Lexi. And I think they're seeing that right now our passers are doing such a great job. Really, it's hard to pick out where do we serve. And that's something that can wear on a team as well. Like, we're seeing a ton of errors, service errors by our opponents. And I think they just come in with the mentality is we've got to serve great because you have passers like Olivia, Lexi, Lainey, Harper back there all the time. And you got to do something to try to get Nebraska out of rhythm. And so let's go back and serve as hard as we can to try to stress them. And then you see the accumulation of errors because of that. And so, you know, Liv has really been, like I said, consistent. She takes coaching. You don't know, you know, like I said, if it's her best match or worst match. And she's just so consistent and so positive with her teammates out there that it's been really great to see. And it's the impact you can see she's made on our backcourt has been immediate.
That's Lindsey Peterson, Director of Ops for Husker Volleyball, this week's guest on The Dig. The full podcast is out wherever you find your podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, and great stuff from Lindsey every week, as it is with every one of the assistant coaches that come through. Brought to you by our great friends at Emeritus. There will be a John Cook radio show this week, Thursday night, hour 1 of Sports Sunday. The volleyball coach will be here. No football show tomorrow because of the off week. All right, 402-413-2400. Step aside, get a break in. Back with more Sports Nightly next.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Live reports of polar bear on the loose. Man, is it cold enough for a polar bear in here?
Yes, we use SOS. Come on in.
SOS to the rescue! Nebraska defensive lineman Matt Sharpe here. People know me as the polar bear, and when I want to stay cool, I call SOS. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Mention the polar bear and get a free 10-year labor warranty on new York equipment. The best warranty you got.
Call 402-391-2336.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump
and save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City, Osceola Implement, and Kearney Equipment to enter for your chance to win this season.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Greg Sharpe back with you. Sports Island here on a Tuesday night, 402-413-2400, the number if you want to be a part final few minutes of the program. Did get a text in, someone who watched the Netflix movie Rezball, R-E-Z Ball. Sam Griesel, the former Husker, is in that. According to this person who texted in, he was great. Sam plays the role of an arrogant player on the opposing team, which is so unlike Sam. I mean, this is a mild-mannered, nice young guy. And, yeah, he's kind of he's the bully in this deal. So I've kind of forgot about it. I may try to watch that this weekend during the bye week. So thanks for reminding me of that Rezball with Sam Griesel. We're going to tomorrow night talking about college basketball and Husker basketball. I'm going to hear from Juwan Gary. Huskers had their outdoor exhibition last Friday night. I heard that was a lot of fun down in the rail yard. They're going to have an open scrimmage Sunday at the Devaney Center. I'd love to have some people come out and watch them play at the Bob, which was a longtime home of Husker Athletics before PBA was built about 10 years ago. That should be a lot of fun to come get your first glimpse at this Husker team going up and down the court. I think they're going to be pretty darn good. I really do. Both the men and women, I think the expectation should be to be in the NCAA tournament. And for the women, I think they should expect to be one of the top 16 teams and host the first 2 weekends of their season. Want to end this segment on a sad note. Former Husker, former Omaha product, Pat Fisher. I think he was one of the more underrated defensive backs in professional football when he played in the 60s and 70s, played mostly for the Cardinals. I think he was with the Redskins for a while as well, but he passed away at the age of 84 today. First two-time Pro Bowler, second-team All-Pro teams during his 17-year career. Imagine that, 17 years in the National Football League. And Pat played at Nebraska earlier than kind of the run began. I mean, he was out of here before Bob Devaney came to be the head football coach. So he kind of missed. He played on some teams that just didn't win many games in Lincoln. But an Omaha product, Husker grad, and a terrific NFL football career. So rest in peace, Pat Fisher, a fantastic defensive back in the National Football League. Step aside, get our final break in. Still time if you want to fire off a text, 402-413-2400. Wrap the show up next.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
For almost 50 years, Sid Dillon Buick GMC Cadillac in Fremont has been more than just a dealership. We're a family dedicated to serving yours. Shop Nebraska's #1 volume Buick GMC dealer for the new car, truck, or SUV to fit your needs. We're also your GMC Business Elite dealer for commercial vehicles. Visit us at SidDillonBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Sunday morning. You can smell it. Game day. And the brisket you've been smoking since last night. A day to be with family, aka fellow football fans. Traditions make Sundays easy to enjoy. Beers do too. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
From family road trips in a spacious SUV to heavy-duty hauling in a powerful truck, Woodhouse has the vehicle to fit your lifestyle. Purchasing a vehicle has never been easier thanks to our streamlined buying process. Browse a huge selection of new or pre-owned vehicles from top brands. View transparent pricing so you can find the vehicle that fits in your budget. And complete your purchase online. Shop when you want, where you want. It's the Woodhouse difference. Get started today at woodhouse.com.
402-413-2400, the number to be a part of the program. Final few minutes of Sports Nightly here on a Tuesday night. Want to reference something that Camden had in the ticker, and that's Husker wrestling schedule came out today for the Big Red. They will open their season in November on the 8th as Utah Valley will come to the Devaney Center for a duel. Campbell, they will travel to North Carolina to wrestle Campbell on the 15th of November. The matches that most excite me, they will host Penn State for the first time in 6 years, January 17th. That's a Friday night. Put that in your calendar, folks. That will be one electric atmosphere at the Devaney Center for Penn State. Probably will be ranked number 1 in the country. That should be fantastic. It kind of follows up a match 6 days earlier at home against Minnesota, who should be a top 10 team. They also have Wisconsin coming to the Devaney Center and Indiana as well that will visit the Bob for Husker wrestling during the year. But Mark Manning's team ought to be pretty darn good. A lot of wrestlers of their core will be ranked in the top 10 in their individual weight categories. So that should be a really interesting winter for Husker wrestling. Mark Manning really has that program zipping along. So I can't wait for that. But January 17th, folks, put that on your calendar. That's that Penn State match at the Devaney Center. That should be really, really cool. All right, no football show tomorrow, but we'll be back with a full 2 hours. We'll have our Big Ten Blitz, some of the things planned for you tomorrow. Juwan Gary, we're going to hear from him, Husker basketball player. That on the program tomorrow night. John Cook will be in studio on Thursday for a volleyball show. Did not have one last week because of their travel. Back this week, Thursday night, 6 o'clock, hour number 1. Head volleyball coach here to talk about the Huskers, who came off of a fairly easy sweep of Iowa on Sunday. They really blasted the Hawkeyes on Sunday. They've got Purdue, much better and really good Purdue team will be here Friday night, 7:30 first serve, 6:30 for pregame coverage here on the network. But John Cook, Thursday night on the program. Because of the Friday volleyball match, we'll have about a 30-minute show for you Friday night, kind of just touch on the headlines of the day. About all we'll have time for that. We're going to do our Big Ten picks coming up on Thursday, so still some fun things headed your way later on this week. Checking the Major League Baseball scoreboard. It's gone final in New York. The Mets beat the Phillies 7-2. Mets now lead that best of 5, 2-1. They're about to start out in San Diego at Petco Park. Padres, Dodgers, even at a game apiece. The American League off today to travel. Cleveland, Detroit, the Yankees in Kansas City tomorrow night, as those will be game 3s. Both of those series not at a game apiece. So a lot of excitement in Kansas City when I was there yesterday about the Royals. This is a surprising Royals team. How they kind of came out of nowhere to get into the playoffs, and now they beat the Baltimore Orioles to get out of the wild card series, and they're knotted with the Yankees 1 game apiece as they get ready to come home for the next 2. Games 3 and 4 will be in Kansas City on Wednesday and Thursday. Royals could close it out, not even have to go back to New York, and then it would be the American League Championship Series coming up after that. But NL today, Phillies drop 1 to the Mets. Dodgers and Padres start up here in just a few minutes, about 10 minutes for that one to go as well. There's also a college football game tonight. Florida International Liberty playing over on CBS Sportsnet. And tonight is night 1 of the NHL season. They dropped the puck on another NHL season. And the Florida Panthers, who are the defending champions, had their Stanley Cup ceremony before the opening match tonight. They are rolling. They're up 5-1 on the Bruins mid-second period. So they're absolutely dominating the Bruins in their starting their defense of the Stanley Cup. That's going to do it for us tonight. Great stuff from Jeremiah, from Lindsey Peterson. Thanks to Camden and Duke for steering the ship for us tonight. Back tomorrow night with a full 2 hours, including our Big Ten Blitz. And Juwan Garrett, we'll hear from him tomorrow on the program as well. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Imagine a world where your office IT runs smoothly, securely, and effortlessly. A day where you aren't worried about the next outage or password compromise. At Hamilton, we take care of everything from monitoring and maintenance to security and support. We partner with your business to design integrated technology solutions that fit your needs now and your goals for the future. With on-site and remote IT support options, we're always just a call or click away. Elevate your IT with Hamilton Managed IT. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
If you've been looking for a reason to fill up your car with unleaded 88, how about this? Unleaded 88
can help you save big at the pump.
And save the planet by cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
Any car 2001 or newer is approved to use unleaded 88. Speaking of good, it's made from corn, which is great for farmers.
As I was saying, if you need a reason to choose unleaded 88, there you have them. Unleaded 88. Engine smart, earth kind. Visit chooseunleaded88.com to learn more.
This fall, be ready for every tailgate, touchdown, and adventure in a perfect car, truck, or SUV from Sid Dillon Chevrolet. Visit us in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo and shop Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer group. We're also your Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, offering medium-duty trucks and low cab forwards. Visit us at SidDillonChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Husker fans, visit a participating AGCO dealer now until November 1st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets and pregame hospitality passes to the Nebraska versus Wisconsin football game on November 23rd in Lincoln. See your True Turf and Ag locations in Osmond, Columbus, and Falls City.